As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head.
They're in a 1-bedroom apartment there with 2 loving parents. No, that's not love. You don't put your kids on the floor. You sacrifice for your kids. You don't put your kids on the floor.
Illegal things the resilient Jenkins have filmed and posted to the internet. Let's start off with the fact that Stephanie has filmed Drew driving several times, even though he has a suspended license. The reason Drew supposedly has a suspended license is because he owes over 10 years worth of child support.
When the song come on, let me see you get gone. Baby mamas, this your song. Been pregnant for way too long. Now tell the DJ turn it on.
The resilient Jenkins are pregnant? I mean, if she's pregnant, she knows what she's doing because you get plenty of resources when you're homeless and pregnant. But to irresponsibly put another child in the situation is crazy.
What do you think of a family of 7 crammed into a single motel room? A mother, her boyfriend, and their 5, soon-to-be 6 children living in conditions that would make you think it's an asylum. Well, that's the current situation of one ironically popular TikTok family known as the Resilient Jenkins family. A family with over 350,000 watchful eyes on their kids in poverty-stricken living conditions. The family is practically controlled by Stephanie Thompson, a mother who has proudly posted a video of her smoking while being heavily pregnant.
Smoking is not good for your health, but you know what?
And her deadbeat boyfriend, Drew Jenkins, who refuses to work and only plays PS5 all day.
Well, all Drew does all day is just play on PS5, and many people have started joking that his 9 to 5 is his PS 9 to 5. And no, he does not help her out with the kids whatsoever. All he literally does is just play on PS5 all day.
Thanks to these irresponsible parents, the Resilient Jenkins family has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. From publicly sharing motel locations that put their children at risk.
Somebody done found the hotel they're staying in. She already posted a picture of the room. I personally will not be posting that on here because there's no need to sit there and blast their location.
To Stephanie's disturbing obsession with having more babies, despite being told by doctors not to have any kids after 2 hernia cases. The controversies are endless. We have Stephanie telling her own daughter to get out when she was on a live stream.
What's up, B? Can I hang out with you for a little? I promise I won't be in the video.
It's not about that. If I'm just gonna sit here and conversate with you, then I'm gonna have to just turn it back off.
You can still talk to your video.
It's not about that, Eddie. You and your sister need to go find something to do. Go play or go back inside.
There's the case of her lying that her Amazon account had been hacked when, in fact, she and Drew had blatantly shared a Christmas list for viewers to help her poor family.
But back to it, because I really just find it odd that people take it upon themselves to get into somebody's Amazon account and order stuff directly from their cart and think that they're doing them a favor, and it's not freaking creepy and weird.
Stephanie from the Resilient Jenkins is saying that somebody hacked into her Amazon account and purchased the items that were in her cart and a save for later list with their own money, not theirs.
And there's also the incident when a business owner immediately shut down their open collaborations just because Stephanie promoted their product.
This is from Revive Homestead, and it's their...
And just let me be very clear, just because somebody posts a video about our product does not mean that we are, for one, associated with them, but 2, condone anything else they post on their page.
This isn't just another problematic family vlog channel. It's not even entertainment. These are real children whose lives are being destroyed in real time and broadcast to millions for engagement.
Baby girl.
Are you done making videos yet?
Not quite yet.
Please, can you continue your videos?
It's funny how you guys don't ever care that I'm doing something with my phone, except when it's online.
You continue the video, but can we stay here with you?
Nope, I'll go ahead and turn it off.
What?
Yep.
The Resilient Jenkins case of negligence and lies is so bad that it's pushed concerned viewers to sign a petition to the authorities for investigations to be carried out on Stephanie and Drew for child exploitation and neglect. What is the Resilient Jenkins family all about? How has Stephanie turned poverty, poor parenting decisions, and child exploitation into a content strategy? This document will explore these questions and more. Buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deeper than you can imagine. The Brazilian Jenkins first gained notoriety for their absolutely baffling living arrangements. When Stephanie first went viral, it wasn't for anything heartwarming or inspirational. No, people were horrified to see that she had converted her one-bedroom apartment's living room into a makeshift bedroom for 5 children.
I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive that I might have judged a poor person based off their appearance. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have.
It's not a cute little bunk bed situation or some Pinterest-worthy room divider. Stephanie threw foam mattress toppers on the floor right next to the front door for the kids. And here's what makes this already sorry situation more insane. Stephanie and her boyfriend Drew took the bedroom for themselves while the children occupied the sitting room. At the time, the Jenkins family was only 6 in number. Drew has 1 son. Stephanie has 2 daughters, and together they had 1 more child. However, when they lived in the one-bedroom apartment, Stephanie was expecting another child.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a one-bedroom apartment.
And in this small space, they were also taking care of 2 cats, which had actually been 4 at one point in their lives.
Prior to me and Drew getting together, I had 1 cat and he had 1 cat. The cat that he had was a stray that came in from outside, and the cat that I had was a cat that I received from a friend. Becoming a family, we brought in 2 other stray cats. So at one point we did have 4 cats in this apartment. We just wanted our kids to experience having their fur babies inside with all the cuddles they wanted. But we feel now it's just the best interest in all of our family members to have them just be outdoor kitties. That does not mean we just stick them outside and not take care of them.
They eventually let go of 2 of them, probably because they could barely maintain the large household they already had. The Jenkins didn't have much furniture and properties to their names, just beds and a dining table. And while the bedroom was furnished with a nice TV and a PlayStation 5 for Drew's entertainment, the kids had nothing but toys for their amusement. The disturbing part in this setup wasn't just the lack of amenities for the kids, but the fact that they were sleeping so close to the main entrance, all by themselves. And now, thanks to this TikTok video, close to 20 million viewers were also aware of this fact. The door leads directly outside. So if anyone were to break in, the first thing they'd encounter wouldn't be 2 capable adults, but 5 vulnerable children sleeping on the floor. The situation caused a stir in the comments, with everyone admonishing Stephanie for raising kids in such an environment and still daring to have another child on the way. And when the viewers rightly pointed out how dangerous this was, Stephanie responded by talking about how she would rather let her kids sleep in the sitting room where there was more space than the small bedroom.
Because we wouldn't make the decision if it wasn't right for the kids. The front door is the only concern, but why would we shut them in the smaller space?
This justification is rather ironic, considering that Stephanie has no problem shoving all 5 kids into one area of the apartment with no real privacy at all. And not only that, but she had also shared the downsides of living in a one-bedroom apartment, citing how a murder could happen in her neighborhood.
And my insomnia is the worst part of it, because am I supposed to be in the middle of the night when I can't sleep? I can't be in the room with my husband or I'm gonna wake him up. Can't be in the room with the kids and I can't even go do the dishes or I'm gonna wake someone up. And I can't go outside because I live in a town where I'm gonna get murdered outside, so.
She's aware that it could be unsafe outside, yet she had no reservations whatsoever with leaving her children by the front door. But that's not entirely the problem here. Stephanie and Drew have an expensive video game worth over $500, and yet they lack beds for their kids. What's even worse was that Stephanie, the mother, was worried about space and not the safety of her kids who were sleeping at the entrance of the house. It wouldn't hurt to place the younger ones inside the small bedroom while she and Drew stayed with the older ones in the sitting room. At least this way there would be an adult figure staying with the kids in such a precarious setting. Sadly, the resilient Jenkins family were not that smart, and Stephanie's priorities were not in the right place. The apartment situation was just the beginning. After failing to pay rent for several months, the family was evicted. However, that may not be the only reason. Word on the street is that Stephanie and her kids had been illegally living in a rent-assisted apartment.
Time now, and the reason for their eviction is as follows. 1, they haven't been able to pay their rent. And 2, Stephanie and her kids have been living there illegally.
Here's how the story goes. So Drew had been living in that apartment with his son from a previous relationship and was receiving government benefits for being a single father. However, everything changed when Stephanie and her own children moved into the unit. Thanks to the Resilient Jenkins TikTok page, there was evidence that more people other than Drew and his son had been residing in the one-bedroom apartment, which was illegal, by the way. This is because Drew had not informed the authorities of the extra people living in the house.
If you're getting rent assistance for an apartment, you're not supposed to be secretly moving people in. You need to disclose everyone that's living in the apartment. So what he was doing is very illegal.
It's unclear how and why he was deemed eligible for government benefits. Stephanie had once claimed that he was suffering from an undisclosed medical condition. And thanks to that, he had to rely on the income that Stephanie was earning through TikTok.
Not only that, but Stephanie claims that Drew had some sort of medical thing happen that made him stop being able to work his job. So he stopped working, and their only source of income now is social media from Stephanie's TikTok.
This disclosure is all the more baffling considering how the family still owed rent, despite the social media gifts and payments. On the court document, the balance is estimated to be an outstanding amount of $2,086.
Oh, it says amount of rent due. Past due balance, $2,086.
And the worst part is that Stephanie and Drew had received this notice since December 24th, 2024.
Here is the notice. And what is the date on there I see? December 24th. So they've known since December 24th that they're...
However, instead of looking for a solution by getting a job, Stephanie continued to post content on her TikTok page. At this point, she was almost due to give birth to the 5th Jenkins child. But even the stress from pregnancy and the impending eviction didn't stop Stephanie from sharing more content. She documented what can only be described as a countdown to her family's eviction from their one-bedroom apartment until they eventually moved into a hotel. During this time, she had finally given birth to her baby. With the new arrival, you would think that Stephanie and Drew would have a reason to sit up and make the right decisions, but sadly, their situation got progressively worse. Following the eviction, instead of finding stable housing, the family moved into a hotel. It's even more baffling when you realize that Drew and Stephanie had months to prepare for this moment, yet they waited until the dying moment to pack up and leave. As of March 15, 2025, almost 3 months after the court notice, Stephanie shared a video telling her viewers about how her family was set to move to a hotel after failing to secure an apartment. And not only that, but Stephanie also disclosed that her own mother had offered to accommodate her and the kids, but she refused.
It's move-out day tomorrow, and in case you didn't catch on, we did not find a place, so we will be going to a hotel and getting a storage unit. And no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer on me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not going to happen.
The Jenkins started living in hotels, and when they couldn't maintain this system for much longer, Stephanie and Drew resorted to living in motels. They couldn't live in one motel because most establishments have policies limiting stays to 28 or 30 days. So every 28 days, they would move to another motel with their kids.
So if you've been following us for a while, you know we have to go to a different motel for one night every 28 days.
7 people living in a single motel room. Just the thought of it is sickening. Yet, despite the sad case, Stephanie continued to create content about their struggle while seemingly making no genuine effort to improve their situation.
In between and everything.
Amidst the whole instability, her children continued to go to school.
That's totally not...
Good morning.
The lack of a stable environment is unfair to the kids. And although they may not realize it, it could cause some psychological and mental conditionings that we'll get to into the course of the video. So moving forward, other than the instability, the motel living arrangement introduced a whole new set of concerns. Stephanie began posting videos with clear identifying features of the location of the motels they're staying at. She would talk about the policies, the nature of the managers, and even the interior and exterior settings.
We are a family of 7 that is currently homeless living in a motel room. The motel that we currently stay at has an extended stay policy where you stay for more than 28 days. You have to go stay at another one of their locations. The place that we're staying at let us know, hey, you guys need to pop over to the other place for a night. Bring it on us kind of last minute if I do say so myself, but hey, we getting kind of good at this. This time I didn't forget the toothbrushes. That was like the first thing I grabbed because I did forget them last time and I deeply regret it.
By posting these details on the internet for all to see, Stephanie was essentially broadcasting to thousands of strangers exactly where her vulnerable children could be found. We live in an era where oversharing locations can cause more harm than good. And the resilient Jenkins family has eyes on them because of the kids. Some attention comes from a place of concern, like this petition sent to the authorities in charge of child welfare in Oregon and beyond. Signed by close to 400 people, the petition calls for immediate investigation into the Jenkins family. This type of attention could be classified as commendable. However, it's not everyone on the internet who has good intentions. There are also sinister people in this world, deranged fellas with phones, internet, and perhaps the urge to wander around and cause trouble. As a mother, Stephanie is faced with the responsibility of keeping her children safe, and this would only happen if she stopped sharing their poor housing situations all the time. Unfortunately, she does the exact opposite by turning their poverty into content. And here's the kicker. Throughout all of this instability, Stephanie continued to post rage-bait content about wanting more children. And then the wildest thing happened. On January 6, 2026, Stephanie posted a video with the caption, "Real realistic life as a mother of 8 living in a motel room."
It looks like a wreck. I'm ready to shower and I'm gonna go start breakfast. This is the earliest we've been up in a while, but I want to keep to the routine. Yep.
First of all, this is a wrong statement because Stephanie is only a mother of 5, not 6 or 7, but 5. Also, the Jenkins are a family of 7. That's Drew and Stephanie plus their 5 children. That makes 7. But let's assume for a second that Stephanie intended to use the term family of 8 instead. That would mean that she was expecting another baby. Before this time, Stephanie had always been intentional about the numbering she adopted in her videos. She posted when they were a family of 6 going to 7.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7, living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Just a month before, she posted that they were a family of 7.
So we have pork chops to work with, but I'm gonna make her talk.
But now she posted about a family of 8. This ultimately hinted at one tiny detail, that Stephanie was pregnant again. As expected, viewers were quick to pick up on the confusing statement, and the comments were unbelievably hilarious. She finally counting Drew as one of her kids? Having a new baby and not a new house is diabolical. Commenters were all the more convinced when Stephanie placed her hand on her slightly big belly.
Aging backwards. What do you mean?
One of the viewers wrote, "She's pregnant. She did the belly hold." And many others were of that belief as well. "How far along are you?" The way she rested her hand on her belly. Exactly what I was wanting to ask. It's quite the situation if you think about it. Stephanie and Drew didn't have stable housing. And it hasn't even been a year since they welcomed baby number 5. Yet Stephanie was hinting at baby number 6. The whole picture tells you where their main priorities lie. Not in securing a job, not in getting stable housing for their kids, but in unplanned and unwise procreation. Stephanie definitely struggles at being a responsible mother. But here's a serious question. In all these poor decision-making situations, where is Drew Jenkins? No examination of this peculiar family would be complete without discussing the world's most deadbeat boyfriend. Drew is Stephanie's partner, the father of at least one of her children, and a man who has apparently never met a responsibility he couldn't run away from. He stays at home most of the time, playing PS5 and smiling at the camera for content, while Stephanie essentially does all the household chores. Drew's lazy and irresponsible attitude isn't entirely what makes him out to be the worst father on the planet. No, it's his resilience in creating multiple children while he earns little to nothing to sustain them. In recent times, Drew has gotten himself busy with a food delivery job. By rough estimates, Drew probably makes around $30 per hour or even less. This data was acquired based on a video Drew had shared on his TikTok account on December 22, 2025. In a 3-hour shift, Drew had earned a little over $80. However, this figure is not completely commendable when you consider the number of kids he has to provide for and their current accommodation struggle. Still, the effort is worth praising because before this time, Drew had never been a productive or a responsible father. The Jenkins patriarch has multiple children from previous relationships, children that he fathered and then abandoned. Here's an account from his first baby mama, the mother of the boy who Drew was living with in the apartment. She attested to the fact that Drew Jenkins walked out on their son when he was only 2 years old.
Actually, he has more than one son. Hi, I'm the first baby mama. That man, that everybody's saying they have 2 loving parents, walked out of his son's life when he was 2.
And she also believed that Drew probably had more children before he met Stephanie.
So no, They didn't meet when he had one child. He probably has more.
Beyond his obsession with procreation, Drew has another upsetting behavior. He refuses to pay child support for these kids.
He hasn't paid child support, but he has a PS5. I feel bad for those kids. I literally feel bad for my child's siblings. Sad to say.
And worst of all, Drew Jenkins won't get a real job. One day, when asked why he doesn't work, his response was literally what a rebellious teenager would say. Drew claimed that he didn't want to be bossed around and didn't like staying at a certain place for an extended period of time. Maybe this is the reason why he was stuck doing menial delivery jobs.
I'll let you guys know why I can't get a job, or don't. It's not that I don't. It's that I don't want to. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like being somewhere I don't want to be for an extended period of time. And people be having attitudes. Customers be having attitudes, and I don't like to deal with it. So I'll just walk out. I will not show up the next day.
This amateurish attitude is coming from a father of multiple kids who's currently homeless and behind on child support. And not only that, but one of his exes also disclosed that Drew used to do drugs. This was the main reason why their relationship ended.
He was smoking it up. And I ain't talking about no reefer. Other shit. And me, personally, I don't like that type of shit around my kids. I don't have that type of shit around my kids. I found out that he was doing that, that he was smoking the money up. Yeah, I told him he couldn't come with me. It's because of that. Because Andrew wanted to do drugs.
There's no way of knowing whether or not his drug use is in the past. It'd be good if it were not the case now that he has a family to take care of. However, based on these previous accounts, Drew was basically described as a leech, a blood-sucking mosquito who drained the life and money from whomever was ready to man up and pay the bills.
He is the type of person that's like kind of weak-minded. That like, if you give that nigga something, he's gonna try it. He's not the type to be like, no, I'm good, like, I don't do that.
While his family wallows in poverty, Drew only plays video games and runs little DoorDash orders. His console retails for about $500. That's enough money that could have gone toward a security deposit on an apartment or gotten his children proper beds. But Drew used it for his gaming setup. This man has never even helped Stephanie with the household chores, especially when she was heavily pregnant. Members of the online community also noted how disturbing this system is in the family. But the worries and concerns mean nothing, especially to Stephanie because she's too love-struck to see the red flags. After the internet had called Drew out for not helping Stephanie when she was pregnant, Stephanie herself defends him constantly, insisting he works really hard, despite all evidence to the contrary. She responded to the hateful comments in one of her captions. Stephanie wrote about how the PS5 was a lifesaver, serving as the kids' entertainment, and she also commented on how Drew had pushed his body to the breaking point for the rental truck they used in moving out of their one-bedroom apartment. The PS5 is a lifesaver in this time because it's the device providing entertainment for the children via TV. There's always this misconception that Drew is just some selfish do-nothing gamer, and I'm tired of staying quiet on that. He's always talking about the selfless route for his family. He pushed his body to the breaking point to pack the U-Haul. However, these are just the bare minimum, honestly. As the father of the household, Drew was expected to do all that and even more, like getting an apartment for his family, for instance, or getting a real job. These were areas where he was meant to shine through as the head of the Jenkins family. Instead, he lets Stephanie do all the heavy lifting and cleaning.
Absolutely no time of day for me. And that is for me to decide. It's not up to a bunch of strangers to decide what I should and shouldn't forgive from a past you weren't even there for. Now let's get back to this movie. Place to go and you didn't find anywhere for the cats to go.
He doesn't work, doesn't parent effectively, he just exists and takes up space and plays Fortnite. Being so completely blind by love and devotion, Stephanie refuses to see how problematic he is. In one instance, she even admitted that she gives Drew breakfast before her kids. Her reason? Drew works overnight while the kids eat snacks. Stephanie wrote, "The kids eat nonstop. The majority of any snacks, fruits, vegetables go to the kids. Drew works overnight and generally doesn't take a lunch break. So yeah, I like to make sure he gets breakfast first. Makes sense to me, which is all I care about." The problem, in her words, is the admission. Stephanie publicly disclosed to the internet that Drew ate before her kids. This is such a wrong pattern for a mother to follow. and her mother instinct never seemed aware of that fact. Unfortunately, Stephanie learned her lesson the hard way. It started with the frequent posts about their failing relationship. In one example, Stephanie shared a video hinting at how Drew would have faulted her for not preparing breakfast. The caption read, "Making the breakfast I know he'll eat, because if I don't, he won't eat and it'll somehow be mine or the kid's fault." In the video, Stephanie's face was puffy and she was sniffing while she was cooking. Then if you listen closely in the background, you'd hear Drew talking as he plays his video games. Stephanie mentioned having postpartum symptoms alongside the emotional flares. However, from the main caption of the video, it was clear that she and Drew were having some issues. Relationships take work and commitment. Drew could give an F if y'all talk crap about him. We're both used to unsolicited opinions at this point. So say what you want, but I'm posting this for the mamas at home who do the most every day and feel like it's not ever enough. This post gave the audience an idea of the nature of their relationship at this point. This was in the first quarter of 2025, shortly before they moved out. Then, sometime in June 2025, Stephanie went live and claimed that she was ready to fight for her children. This admission meant that they had broken up, and Stephanie, for the most part, seemed resolute in her decision.
I have to do what's best for my kids. I have to do what's best for my kids. F me and him, the kids first. That's it.
This was around the time when their motel life had begun. Drew and Stephanie's relationship had reached a boiling point. Then ultimately Drew left her and the kids at the motel sometime in August 2025. He just peaced out, as if he didn't have a responsibility whatsoever.
I mean, who wouldn't grow tired of being stuck in a motel room with 5 children by yourself? The resilient Jenkins have broken up, according to Stephanie. Drew has blocked Stephanie and left her alone in the motel room with their 5 children.
At this point, Stephanie's resolution wasn't as strong as it was in the previous live stream. Instead of seeing the breakup as a chance for her to stand up for her kids, Stephanie broke down in a video uploaded on her Facebook story. In her own words, she had thought her relationship with Drew would be different from his past relationships.
Y'all said it, like, that's how it went down with his exes, right? Just cold-hearted, like, out the picture, like the kids don't matter. No, because I thought, like, he actually loved us, you know? Thought I was too free.
Commenters were largely unsympathetic to her cries. Some believed she was only doing it for views, and others blamed her for leading things right up to this point from the moment she moved into his apartment. The video was eventually deleted, and just 3 days later, Stephanie and Drew got back together. She took him back without hesitation, and they continued to live amidst more internet controversies than ever in their journey through motel rooms. One of those controversies involves an Amazon wishlist incident around Christmas of 2025. Here's what allegedly happened. Stephanie claimed that her Amazon account was hacked and that a stranger bought items from her cart and sent them to her kids for Christmas.
See, I found it odd when people kept telling me that me and Drew shared a wish list over the holidays when I knew damn well we didn't. And while I'm not going to lie and say that we didn't receive anything, because we did receive some stuff that was on a wish list that I didn't even share. Which means there's only one explanation of that. Somebody hacked into our Amazon and took it upon themselves to share a wish list.
In this video, she seems relatively grateful, but was still spooked out by the gesture.
And they've gone even further because they've taken items that I've had in the cart and just sent them to us. And I'm tossing between, like, I'm grateful and I'm also creeped out, because why would you take it upon yourself to hack into somebody's Amazon and send them stuff that they didn't ask you for?
However, in a follow-up video, Stephanie called the person who sent the gifts a stalker and acted like she was being victimized.
I think that just because we everyday people, you have a say in our life. But back to it, because I really just find it odd that people take it upon themselves to get into somebody's Amazon account and order stuff directly from their cart and clothing sizes and everything I have saved in my safe for later with no permission whatsoever. I never asked you to send anything to my kids.
The commenters weren't buying it. The general consensus was that Stephanie had posted the wish list online herself, hoping her audience would buy things for her homeless kids, which honestly would be somewhat understandable given the circumstances.
The reason that Stephanie is addressing this at all is because the internet is accusing her of sharing an Amazon wish list and having the internet provide a Christmas for her children.
But the story doesn't add up. because there's indeed an Amazon wish list under Stephanie and Drew's names. What's more, they can be searched for and found on the Amazon website. Drew's Amazon wish list is public for everyone to see. It has the tag, "The Kids Wish List for Christmas," and was posted on December 7th, 2025. Additionally, Stephanie's wish list is still made public for the internet to see. Yet, despite these pieces of evidence, Stephanie was making wild claims. One minute she claimed that she and Drew never had a wish list.
Drew and I did not post any wish lists. We did not post wish lists. So if you're seeing wish lists pop up in Drew's name or in my name, somebody did that shit.
In the same breath, she argued that the list was never hers or Drew's to begin with. Stephanie said this while adding that none of the items on the list were things she and Drew would have added in the first place.
They went through steps of making it look as legitimate as possible by using like our names, the address of the motel, this and that, and like things that they think that our kids would be needing. And the funny thing is that like the items on the wish list are things that Drew and I would never even be putting on the wish list.
And then in the next minute, she claimed that her Amazon account was hacked.
They want something to talk about. And I really do appreciate those of you that...
This new assertion counters the first one because she more or less was admitting to the fact that she had an Amazon wish list and it was hacked. And not only was it hacked, but the hacker had gone out of their way to pay for some items in her cart with their own money and sent them to their motel for the kids. It sounds completely outrageous and no one was buying it.
Someone hacked into your Amazon so they could buy you items from a private list? Yeah, these angel hackers are running rampant.
Stephanie didn't bother to return the gifts. In fact, these items can be seen in Stephanie's videos on TikTok. They include a toy set box, a set of nail art pens, and there are also speculations about a pair of shoes that Stephanie once claimed was purchased by Drew for their daughter.
Jenkins, right here.
A commenter wrote, "You know darn well he did not buy those shoes for her. Either Amazon wishlist did, but he did not go out and pick those out especially for her." From all these clues, it's possible that the family had been taking credit for the gifts they were receiving. If that were true, then Stephanie's excuses for the Amazon wishlist were not making any sense. Maybe she came up with this elaborate hacking story to cover up her shame for begging for gifts on the internet.
Also, the reason why she didn't post anything for Christmas is because the wish list that Drew made was real and people actually bought stuff and she did not want people to know.
One TikToker even threw some necessary questions at Stephanie to understand her story. First of all, the TikToker argued that if truly Stephanie had been hacked, she should have received a code for registration. Plus, the card that had been used for payment should be on record, along with a confirmation code among other official procedures.
People have mentioned the fact that when you sign into an Amazon account from a new device, you have to be sent a code, an email, something to verify that you can indeed have access to the account. Then they uploaded their payment info to check out in your cart. Is that what you're saying, right? Amazon account? Do you still have their payment information on your Amazon account? I know.
These are important details that would have made her hacking story more believable. Yet Stephanie never revealed anything to these effects. She never even blocked the account or issued an official complaint to Amazon. Instead, she accepted the gifts because she believed they were beneficial to her kids. And instead of showing gratitude for the help, she called her well-wisher a stalker.
There comes a point in time when you have to ask yourself, is these items, these things that people are sending us going to benefit my kids? Probably. So my stubborn ass needs to set aside my ego and realize that the stuff is already here. Might as well freaking keep it so it can benefit my children, right?
The incident even took a mind-blowing turn when the supposed stalker reacted to Stephanie's ugly remarks. The well-wisher claimed that they had seen one of the gifts they sent to kids in Drew's posts. This gift was a personal selection as it wasn't in Stephanie's cart. So they found it ironic that Stephanie had been speaking ill of someone who gifted her family out of goodwill. And that wasn't even the worst part. This well-wisher claimed that they had left their TikTok details in the package for Stephanie and Drew to see, meaning that they had no intention whatsoever to remain anonymous. The post read, "The gifts I sent wasn't on their list. It gave me an option to add other stuff, so I did. On the gift note, I even put my TikTok name so she would know who it's from. Now I'm starting to think, why TF lie about the gifts? The problem isn't that she might have hoped for help. The issue is her dishonesty. If someone needs help, then they should ask for help and not lie about it. Stephanie shouldn't have created some weird narrative about being hacked and stalked. It's this kind of unnecessary lies that makes people question everything she says. If you lie about something this stupid, what else are you lying about?" This incident also highlights another pattern. Stephanie's relationship with her audience is entirely transactional. Her family's wish list is full of many unnecessary yet expensive things. For instance, why would they ever need a $59 compressor?
A compressed air duster for $59? Girl, aren't the cans like really cheap at Walmart? Like, why do you need a $59 air compressor?
It's clear that the Jenkins just treat their benefactors like cash cows. Stephanie, for one, wants their money, engagement, and views, yet she doesn't value them. She calls them haters and generally treats them with contempt.
I've never been disliked by someone I'd want to trade places with.
This behavior makes you wonder what's going on with Stephanie Thompson Jenkins. And more importantly, how did she rack up over 350,000 TikTok followers with this kind of problematic behavior? The shocking answer lies in Stephanie's rather dark and tragic background. You see, Stephanie's personal history is complicated. Although it appears as if Drew Jenkins is the center of her universe, he's not the only man who has left a huge mark in her life. Before Drew, Stephanie was married to a man named Jeremiah Thompson. The pair married in 2015, and Jeremiah fathered 2 of Stephanie's children. But here's the thing. Jeremiah had been a registered sex offender since 2010, and he was ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison for a number of reasons: kidnapping and sexually assaulting a minor, sexual misconduct with a 7-year-old, and even a sexual assault against his mother. Yet, despite his awful record, Stephanie still married and had 2 daughters with him. Ever since the online investigators found out, Stephanie has always tried to defend herself, claiming that she never knew about Jeremiah's horrible history.
No, I knew of one charge. I knew of one thing that he had mentioned to me, and actually I never really looked up his record myself when I was...
However, as always, Stephanie's words are not entirely believable. She never revealed the charge that Jeremiah had told her about. And in that same video, she completely deflected and blamed her mother for not raising her well enough to assess people.
I definitely should have, but I'm telling you, the lack of parenting that I had, and not even lack of parenting, the messed up part of parenting that I had, didn't teach me anything.
That's a classic Stephanie Jenkins move, blaming everyone but herself for her own mistakes. A look into her case revealed a lot of disturbing details about Stephanie and Jeremiah. First of all, it was discovered that a year before his conviction, Jeremiah was the one who had initiated a divorce from Stephanie. Second of all, it was discovered that a handful of people had warned Stephanie about Jeremiah's criminal records. One was her own mother, Maurice. In an interview with TikToker Slay with Alicia May, Maurice disclosed that Stephanie had been told that Jeremiah was a repeat sex offender, but that wasn't all. Somehow in this story, Jeremiah had told Stephanie that he had taken the fall for his brother and he wasn't responsible. For some reason, Stephanie believed this story.
That she's stuck. Her first husband, that was a situation where she met this person. He had told her, that he wasn't, he was a registered, and see, I'm afraid to say those words on TikTok, but we know. He was a registered, and he told her that all that stuff was stuff he'd been accused of, but nobody could really prove. And that he comes from a really, really large family, and it was my brother who did that to my mom, but he'd already been in trouble with the law, so my mom decided to make it me because I wouldn't get in as much trouble. And there was just this list of excuses, and she bought it.
Apart from Maurice, there are also declarations in court stating that Stephanie was well aware of Jeremiah's case and didn't care much about it. This one was from Jeremiah's mother herself. She had told Stephanie about her son's tendencies when she first met Stephanie. I specifically remember sitting on the couch in our living room explaining the circumstances to Stephanie, at which time she advised me she was not concerned and did not care. All these factors point to the fact that Stephanie knew who Jeremiah was before she married him. But the problem here is that despite having such knowledge, Stephanie had her daughters with this child sex offender, often left them alone with him, and even wrote a letter to the judge, begging for a chance for Jeremiah to remain present in his children's lives during his sentencing.
Filing for him to have access to the kids the moment she knew she was pregnant. They filed a motion to amend his judgment and sentencing so he could be around his children.
You can instantly see what kind of person she is through these instances. Just because she acts with Drew, Stephanie was also putting her partner first before her own children. Jeremiah Thompson, a criminal, had to file for a divorce first. Stephanie had not taken the initiative. The most she had done was file for a restraining order. However, nothing came of these petitions after Jeremiah's incarceration. Stephanie still remains married to Jeremiah to this day, and she truly would like her relations with him to remain a thing of the past.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this one. I'm sick of this one. You're not doing any freaking favors pulling up the history of my ex and what I've been through with that. You don't understand the situation. You don't know why I'm still married to him. You have no idea what I went through with that.
In her bid to bury the past, Stephanie had hinted at potential abuse under Jeremiah.
I'd be so loud because my children are screaming right now and I can't speak over them. I'm in the bathroom. The only reason I don't speak on it is because you have no idea how triggering that situation actually is. Ever since I went viral and people can't stop bringing up his freaking name, I've had nothing but PTSD nightmares. Now maybe you don't understand that. Maybe you've never had somebody wake you up in the middle of the night to do whatever the frick they want to you. I don't give a how over emotional I seem in this because you just don't get it, bro. Seeing his face literally triggers out of me, and y'all don't give a bro.
But the viewers were mostly unsympathetic, since she knew what she was getting into in the first place. Her ties with Jeremiah are truly damaging. However, it hasn't affected her growth on TikTok. See, Stephanie had come a long way to become TikTok famous. When she first started posting on her account back in 2021, she didn't start with basic family content. Most of her videos were about herself.
You work numbers, work wonders. You didn't woke me up from my eternal slumber.
Dumb a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go, and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow, and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna it.
Her past about her relationship with her sister and mother.
No, but when I say me and my sister are connected, we're connected because I'm on my way to my sister's and I'm just thinking, I'm so sick and tired of waiting around when I can go to a printing shop or just all this crap. I just need to have a printer. I need to get myself a printer. I feel like I have like a one-sided friendship and relationship with my brothers and my mom because it's like if I don't put the effort out there, if I don't throw the effort out there, it's like somehow there's no like effort in the relationship.
There was nothing special about these early videos. Her views weren't titanium. The numbers were always shuffling between 4,000 and 5,000, never reaching up to 10,000 views in months and months of content. So Stephanie kicked things up a notch by including other touchy subjects that could win the sympathy of her viewers. She would often post about surviving domestic violence.
All you are is mean and a liar and pathetic and a lonely life in me.
She would also share videos of her smoking while she was heavily pregnant.
Smoking is not good for your health, but you know what?
I don't care. I love it.
And she would often speak about the miscarriages she had suffered in the past. In one video, Stephanie spoke about how she had lost a baby when she was 8 weeks along and was anxious for her new 10-week-old pregnancy.
Having gone through what I went through with my last miscarriage and now just waiting and waiting and waiting for this ultrasound. I'm 10 weeks along tomorrow and that's terrifying. Like I lost my last baby at 8 weeks and I still don't even know like if this baby's made it past that point.
These topics are typically private and sensitive to talk about on social media, especially when there's little to no audience who are interested in knowing about it. Yet Stephanie never hesitated to share her story online, even when they received so little engagement. So why was she doing this at all? Why was she oversharing on the internet when nobody asked for it? Is it possible that she was going to extremes for the sake of getting more views and going viral? Well, that might have been the case, because Stephanie truly wanted to crack the algorithm on TikTok. But she had great difficulty managing this big dream.
Cracking TikTok's algorithm is no different than being politically analytical.
She wanted fame, so she kept posting anything and everything to get there. Suddenly, there was a great shift. Stephanie's views and likes spiked more when she posted a gender reveal video. The video showcased Drew and the kids throwing balloons filled with blue paint on a mat. It was a cute family moment, and for the first time ever, Stephanie gained close to 300 likes, and not the usual 20 and less figure. From then on, Stephanie kept posting more family content, and her usual documentation of her family of 6 began. But Stephanie didn't just post about her family, she marketed their poverty. She would paint a picture of how they were struggling and would indirectly beg the internet for help. Here's one bold example. In December 2023, Stephanie posted a video with a long write-up saying, "Kids are unbathed, cats covered in fleas and bites, laundry not done in the background, my kids' hair undone, no presents under the tree, no fancy Christmas event to take my kids to due to no funds, broke and incomplete toys everywhere for kids, my kids need new clothes." The caption ended with Stephanie claiming that she was grateful for the good things in life, but the message was clear. Stephanie wanted help out of poverty. And instead of looking up to Drew for provision, she wanted a free way through her TikTok account.
What a year this has been, and I just want to say I'm grateful.
Just like this, Stephanie continued to document life as a low-income family, to show the realities of raising children while struggling financially. However, what she might not have expected was that her children would end up suffering from it. It started with her most viewed video, the one that finally got Stephanie the attention she wanted. This was the video where she revealed that she and Drew were expecting a 5th child in their 1-bedroom apartment.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head.
The video was posted on October 25th, 2024, and it's garnered close to 20 million views and over 400,000 likes. The video showing her kids sleeping on the floor got more views than every other video she had posted. And after Stephanie noticed that intimate family content could pull engagements, she continued to share updates about her family's living arrangement. Every clip showcased the family's endurance amidst relative poverty. Perhaps this is what formed the basis of their TikTok name, Resilient Jenkins. But here's the thing. The more Stephanie exposed her family's lifestyle, the more concerning they appeared to be. For instance, her videos began to reveal troubling details about the family's hygiene. Throughout Stephanie's content journey, there have been details of poor environmental conditions. Stephanie has claimed to be a clean freak with OCD.
You gotta get the cereal off of there, honey. And I think you might need to spray it one more time and wipe it down because we spread the milk in a little bit.
However, the evidence from her own videos tells a different story. The apartments and motel rooms she films in are consistently cluttered, dirty, and chaotic.
Good morning. I'm here to tell you how to be a delicious hot mess. First, you have to start with this disgusting mess, because then you look delicious.
Clothes are constantly found littered around, along with food spills and toys. The kids' living spaces are often so disorganized that you wouldn't be able to tell that there were children lying around.
And if you have a minute, why don't we go talk about it somewhere only we know?
The same applies to their kitchen, which Stephanie was shameless enough to post online.
Just so y'all know, Amanda Rose ain't the only one who wakes up with her kitchen like this. Y'all gotta stop judging mamas. That girl makes me proud every damn day. Because this is me today.
And there's also their bathtub, which was in dire need of major plumbing work.
Yeah, so this is my bathtub now, and obviously, like, what the color is this coming out of here now? But you gotta laugh a little bit because I'm like, bro, it looks like a number of things could be floating around in there, like a body or something.
These little factors are enough to raise concerns over Stephanie's children's health. In one video, Stephanie proudly confessed that she didn't believe in the concept of cleaning her kids with wet wipes. Instead, she claimed she'd bathe her kids whenever they soiled themselves with poo or pee.
I gave up on the concept of wet wipes like a freaking few months ago. I lost track of how long it's been since I used wet wipes. But I have next level squirmy toddlers when it comes to being changed, and I'm not trying to have poo all over my freaking elbows, so I'd rather just pop them babies in the shower every time. And if that means they need to have 3 showers a day, so friggin' be it. Now that's a you do what you do, I do what I do type of situation, because you want to sit there and judge me, baby, you could learn some things from me.
For Stephanie, washcloths are way better than wet wipes and diapers. She could use, wash, and reuse them.
I don't like to sit there and fuss with a bag of wipes. I don't like to have to use 20 plus wipes on one doo-doo diaper. Washcloths, it's an easy process. Just warm up the rags, warm water. It's a lot more comfortable for the kids.
Think of how unhygienic this can be for the kids in the long run. Wet wipes are typically infused with cleansers that help prevent bacteria. You can't get that much efficiency from using washcloths, but Stephanie genuinely doesn't care. Wet wipes are just the beginning. One other recurring issue in the Jenkins family has been lice outbreaks. Now, to be fair, lice can happen to anyone. They're not necessarily a sign of poor hygiene. However, the Jenkins children seem to have chronic, repeated lice problems in their room and even their hair.
Not fucking with that stuff.
Lice infestations require thorough and consistent treatment to fully eliminate. However, Stephanie and Drew have never invested into this extermination, the same way they struggle to tackle flea infestation, another troubling, unhygienic problem they've had in their small home.
I got these frickin' flea traps a while back, and I want to show y'all how well they work.
But the unhygienic scenes are not the only unsettling details captured on camera. Beyond the Jenkins family's disorganized state, there's also the problem of child neglect. The way Stephanie's lackadaisical about her children's physical health is the same way she's always unbothered about their emotional upbringing. There are more than one instance where Stephanie has ignored her children when they desperately sought her attention. In one video, Stephanie's daughter approached her and asked if she could sit with her, promising not to talk while she filmed her content. And what did Stephanie do? She said no.
What's up, Can I hang out with you for a little? I promise I won't be in the video.
It's not about that. If I'm just gonna sit here and conversate with you, then I'm gonna have to just turn it back off.
You can still talk to your video.
It's not about that, Addie.
The child was so starved for her mother's attention that she was willing to sit in silence just to be near her. But Stephanie didn't care. And not only that, but she also tried to guilt trip her daughter by telling her that she would stop filming her content altogether if she didn't leave. Regardless, her daughter, remaining persuasive, promised that she wouldn't appear in the video. All she wanted was to sit beside her mother. Yet again, the effort and desperation didn't matter to Stephanie because she still sent her daughter away, telling her to go find something else to do.
You and your sister need to go find something to do. Go play or go back inside.
Yes, I do, yeah.
And the upsetting drama continued shortly after when the little girl returned again. This time you can tell that she was disappointed that Stephanie was still shooting content.
Are you done making videos yet?
Not quite yet.
It was pretty clear that she really wanted some bonding time with Stephanie. Yet Stephanie's main priorities were on her social media content and not her own daughter. In fact, her attitude was so nasty that she scolded her kids for getting in the way of what she was recording.
At least can you continue your video?
It's funny how you guys don't ever care that I'm doing something with my phone except when it's online.
You continue the video, but can we stay here with you?
Nope, I'll go ahead and turn it off.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Because I don't know how you guys know like that.
This behavior clearly shows that Stephanie isn't a mother who cares about her children's feelings. She could be moved by her desire to please her partner and get internet famous, but she wouldn't be compelled to give her children emotional connections. This isn't the first time Stephanie has blatantly neglected her daughter. The same thing happened in this clip, where the poor girl asked if she could take pictures with her phone. Stephanie acknowledged her before completely ignoring her request.
I'm trying to grab my phone like that.
Can I take a picture? Please.
This situation is sad because Stephanie has always put her children's face on the internet for views. Yet when it comes to actually showering love and respect on the main people who had caused her to go viral in the first place, Stephanie fails in all regards. To make matters worse, Stephanie is all too aware about the way the internet perceives the underlying child exploitation in her schemes. Most of her videos come with accusatory comments. I cannot imagine ignoring my child like that. She treats them so bad. We worry for your own children's safety, and y'all exploiting them for chump change. And in her effort to address these remarks, Stephanie was defiant, and you will not believe what she said in her response video. Stephanie stated that people shouldn't come at her for choosing to make her kids' lives public.
I respect people who are like, I don't share my kids on social media. I keep my kids' private life private. Bro, that's your choice. But why come at the moms who don't make that choice? Because I see it completely differently.
She went even further by insisting that her kids wanted to be in the videos, saying that they feel like little celebrities in a safe space.
My kids want to be a part of my videos. They feel like they're on TV. They feel like little celebrities. And they're being little celebrities in a safe space instead of like Nickelodeon.
This is such a disturbing and flawed defense. First of all, social media is absolutely not a safe space. Predators and creeps exist. By posting her children's faces, their location, and intimate details of their lives, Stephanie is putting them at risk. Secondly, children cannot consent to this kind of exposure. They don't understand the long-term implications of having their entire childhood documented online. They don't know that their images could be seen by predators, bullies, or anyone else with internet access. And most importantly, they don't realize that their classmates and future employers might see these videos years from now. That being said, Stephanie's kids can't consent because they lack the capacity to understand what they're consenting to. But this delusional mom refused to see things that way. In fact, in the entire video, Stephanie displayed a complete lack of understanding of the situation that had triggered the internet. She failed to understand that people weren't coming at her because she posted her kids. They were upset with her because she was exploiting them. There's a difference between sharing the occasional family photo and building your entire income stream by broadcasting your children's poverty to the internet. And in her world of delusion, Stephanie still had the mind to claim that her kids would one day become creators themselves and credit her for it.
They're going to want to start their own social medias, and I think it's going to be awesome to have their perspective too, and they'll be like, this is me all grown up, now I'm going to come prank my mom and take the video on that perspective.
Like before, this take is completely gross. Stephanie isn't going to give her children a head start by posting this kind of content. Those kids aren't being set up for success. They're being set up as lol cows. The family is primarily known for being dysfunctional. Thanks to that, the children will be associated with poverty, neglect, and bad parenting decisions. Is that really the legacy she wants to give them? The whole response video plainly reveals that Stephanie isn't one to be reasoned with. She would say anything to justify her means. She'd even gone as far as inferring that exposing her kids to social media was no different from having them show up on CCTV footage in outdoor events. For her, these instances are similar, and they also prove that you can't hide your kids forever.
There's cameras everywhere. There's public, there's people, there's no hiding our children in today's world. There just isn't. I mean, yes, you keep them safe, but my kids are safe. I ain't worried about their safety. Ain't no one coming up in that door and taking my children.
However, once again, Stephanie completely lost the plot in this reasoning. CCTV footage of children on a particular street or location doesn't automatically broadcast to millions of people on a social media platform. No, it's private data that can only be accessed by the authorities if the need ever arises. This is nothing compared to Stephanie's habit of posting live locations for viewers to see while essentially telling the world which room you can find the adults and where you can find the kids. Stephanie's logic is pathetic and thoroughly tone-deaf for someone who's meant to be a mother of 5 children. All she cares about is the engagement that comes with her having her children's face on her platform. For her, it's not risky, it's enjoyment.
For now, it's about the enjoyment. It's about the process and the fact that my kids want to be a part of it, and sometimes I want them to be a part of it. So, yeah, my kids are in my videos.
Sadly, it's not all the time that Stephanie's act of oversharing worked in her favor. The Amazon wishlist incident was one case where controversial content slapped her square in the first. But the second and most obvious one was a controversy involving a brand that Stephanie had promoted on TikTok. A mere affiliation with Stephanie caused a sudden and total rebranding.
A business owner who sells on the TikTok shop had to make a video addressing the fact that the Resilient Jenkins was promoting their product and they are going to shut down their open collabs due to the Resilient Jenkins. Let's watch.
On the 19th of January 2026, Stephanie posted a now deleted video of a product from a brand named Revive Homestead.
This is from Revive Homestead, and it's their natural mineral toothpaste powder.
Not long after, the business owner caught wind of Stephanie's endorsement and quickly addressed the issue.
Morning, I woke up to a message informing us of a creator that was sharing about our products and just cautioning us and letting us know we should probably go check out their videos. So I did.
Firstly, the brand representative offered a disclaimer, stating that they were in no way associated with Stephanie. Although it was not stated explicitly, the disclaimer was most likely due to the nature of Stephanie's content and her past personal controversies, especially with Jeremiah Thompson. Steph is married to a PDF, that's why nobody wants to be associated with her. And then afterwards, the brand shut down their open collaborations, which was a feature that allowed any and every brand to openly promote their products.
Now, that being said, we are considering shutting down our open collaboration and making it a targeted, requested collaboration. And this just ensures we know every single creator promoting our product, and we kind of have a little more control over that. But for today, just know that we are not directly associated with every account that posts about our product.
It's important to note that the brand representative never mentioned or tagged Stephanie or the Resilient Jenkins TikTok page, but as they say, if the shoe fits, wear it. As soon as the video circulated, Stephanie deleted the promotional video immediately. Then 3 days later, she shared her response video. In the almost 2-minute clip, Stephanie essentially threw herself a pity party, explaining that her content should mean anything in such a professional setting.
Everybody has access to my page. They have access to knowing who I am prior to giving me collab offers. And I understand that's an open collab offer and you can take it back. I don't think the nasty messages needed to be a part of this.
Stephanie expressed that the bad press about her was a misunderstanding and that the brand would have handled the case better if they had disregarded it. This was her way of undermining her controversial background, calling it a small issue that shouldn't affect a brand.
I don't think the misunderstanding about my public image had to reflect on a collab offer. You could have just as easily disregarded all the hate because it'll pass by.
Unfortunately for Stephanie, that's not how it works in the business setting. No brand would want to be associated with a person who undeniably married and enabled a pedophile and was subjecting their own children to a range of psychological and emotional abuse. Stephanie framed her controversial background as a poor, unfortunate situation that people were making content out of.
But you're into content too. You realize that a lot of times people can spin and have negative things to say about you that aren't true. And if you choose to believe that about me, I can't do anything for you.
She eventually acted like the brand had done her a disservice, as if they'd treated her poorly when she was, in fact, a customer.
I don't think in this sense I deserved the kind of response that I got. If we're really looking at the big scope of it, I'm a customer and you treated me with incredibly poor customer service.
The comments were largely in the brand's favor. One wrote, "I respect a business protecting their own business." Another added, "Why is anyone giving her collab offers or brand offers or anything?" And some even defended the brand, saying they care about who is representing their brand, and that the business owner never used Stephanie's name or handle. She never used your name or handle. At the end of the day, Stephanie lost credibility due to her poor social media standing. Not only was she an irresponsible mom who was too blinded by love to how she was exploiting our kids, but she was also a risky business agent online. No one wants to be associated with Stephanie if it's not for the benefit of her children. It does make you wonder where this family's headed in the near future. Even though the family's been through a lot lately, there are still a lot of ways things could go more downhill for them. One is the fact that Stephanie's children, once nurtured into teenagers, could grow up resenting her and Drew. The minute they find out and understand that their family's dysfunction has been cataloged for thousands to see, they could be filled with resentment. They'll discover that their mother chose creating rage-bait content over getting them proper beds, that their stepfather refused to work a regular job to support them, that their childhoods were performed for an audience that largely viewed them with pity. In another case scenario, CPS could get involved. This could be a bit tough considering how often the Jenkins moved between motels. Also, there's the fact that there might not be enough grounds for CPS to intervene. Hopefully the petition would work out, and the children can find a much better environment to grow. These instances are predictions that might not happen at the end of the day. But one thing that can change the trajectory of the situation is Stephanie leaving Drew for someone more responsible. Her family, for one, might be a good choice. Stephanie's mom and sister have proven to be good judges of character, especially where Stephanie's relationship is concerned. Stephanie herself once confessed that they have never liked or approved of her partners.
My family never jives with my partners. Me being a female in the family, my life choices, my life partners.
From what we've seen with Jeremiah Thompson and Drew Jenkins, it's safe to say that we can trust their sense of judgment. That being said, Stephanie needs to leave Drew, who contributes nothing positive to this family. Along with this bold shift, Stephanie also needs to consider other lifestyle changes. She needs to stop having children and focus on properly caring for the ones she has. Additionally, she needs to go offline for a while to save money and make a plan. In all, Stephanie needs to recognize that her children deserve privacy, stability, and a childhood that isn't performed for strangers online. But unfortunately, based on every pattern we've seen, none of that'll happen. Stephanie will continue defending Drew and posting content. She may even have another child, and the fundamental housing problem won't change without external influence. This isn't entertainment anymore. Honestly speaking, it never was. These are real children, with real lives being exploited in real time. The Resilient Jenkins aren't resilient at all. They're a family in crisis, with parents who have chosen social media engagement over their children's well-being. And unless something dramatically changes, we're watching a tragedy unfold one TikTok video at a time. What do you think will happen to the resilient Jenkins? Will they experience a positive turnaround soon? Or will Stephanie lead them further into more internet circus drama? Leave an answer in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.